Today, we're dividing all of X-Men's mutants into Omega, Alpha, and Beta classes, and putting together an absolutely wild power ranking. Some of the placements will genuinely surprise you. We're going deep into territory you've never explored before. If you're ready, let's begin. In the Marvel Universe, mutants are divided into 4 main classes, but today we'll focus on the 3 most discussed. Omega class, a mutant whose dominant power's theoretical upper limit is immeasurable, meaning there's no ceiling to their power. Alpha class, very powerful, able to fully control their abilities and physically appearing as a normal human. However, their powers do have a limit. Beta class, powerful mutants, but either their powers are passive and only affect themselves, or they have some limitation. Don't mistake Beta for weak, but they don't have the capacity to change the world. Jean Grey/Phoenix. She has telepathy and telekinesis, but that's not all. In later stages, Jean Grey reaches the Phoenix Force, meaning she can disintegrate everything at the atomic level. Even if every mutant in the mutant school combined, they couldn't stop her. That naturally makes her an Omega class mutant. However, we never got to see her full power in the X-Men films. In the comics, Jean Grey is officially an Omega class mutant. Jean is both a telepath and a telekinetic. However, House of X only registered her telepathy as Omega. Telekinesis is a separate power and wasn't classified at the same level. The Phoenix Force is not Jean's mutant power. It's a universal entity merging with Jean's body. So Jean on her own is an Omega class telepath. Magneto/Eric Lensher. This man is a legend. He holds ships in place in the ocean. He tears an entire stadium apart with one hand. He turns someone like Wolverine into a toy. A mutant like Charles Xavier, with an entire mutant army, struggles to deal with him. He was officially registered as an Omega class mutant in the comics. The definition: there is no measurable force on Earth that can surpass him in the domain of magnetism. There were periods where he was referred to as Alpha, capable of shifting Earth's magnetic axis. But in my opinion, this man's place is firmly in Omega class. What do you think? Iceman/Bobby Drake, a mutant who has stayed in the background, but even the little we saw of him in the X-Men film series, his actual capacity is very high. In the comics, Bobby Drake was long referred to as Alpha class. Then something happened. He began converting his body into pure ice energy, could reshape himself at the molecular level, and could manipulate atmospheric moisture to create massive ice structures. He was officially confirmed as an Omega class mutant. Theoretically, he can reach absolute zero, -273 degrees Celsius. Storm/Aurora Monroe. I'll be honest, Storm is a wasted mutant. Many people saw her in the Fox series as just someone who controls the weather, but she was actually so much more. She was never shown at her full potential. Her weather control power was actually strong enough to affect the atmosphere on a global scale. In the comics, Storm received official confirmation as Omega class in the comics. Very few people know this, and it's genuinely thought-provoking. We're talking about a power vast enough to affect the entire planet. Apocalypse. He's one of the mutants whose power is perhaps most accurately portrayed in the X-Men series. He can transfer power to any mutant, instantly boosting that mutant to premium mode. Both he and the mutant he empowers gain near limitless physical durability. Just think, this man could build an incredibly powerful mutant army. In the comics too, Apocalypse is an extraordinarily powerful mutant. As a thousands of years old being, he has absorbed countless mutant powers and can alter his body at the molecular level. The version shown in the Age of Apocalypse storyline is on a completely different level from the film. His power level is undeniably in the top tier. He has no official category, but let's place him in Omega class. Professor X/Charles Xavier. Professor X is a telepath. He can read thoughts. He can communicate with you no matter where you are in the world. He can even locate any mutant, and that's without even mentioning how intelligent he is. In his older versions, we see that he can't control his power and has caused irreversible events on multiple occasions. But calling him Omega class is difficult. In the comics, although Xavier has been referred to as an Omega class telepath many times throughout comic history, the official Omega list, which was narratively framed as if written by Xavier himself, did not include Xavier on it. That's why Xavier is Alpha class. one of the world's finest telepaths, but technically without an Omega designation. Cyclops / Scott Summers. This man is the most wasted mutant in the X-Men series. He has incredible power. When he opens his eyes, what he looks at suffers irreversible consequences. Just look at what happened around him the moment he first discovered it. Fortunately, he ends up at Professor X's school and keeps it under control with those glasses. But throughout the series, presenting Scott, one of X-Men's most powerful mutants, as merely Jean's jealous boyfriend was an absolute failure. In terms of power class, we're placing him in Alpha class. In the comics, it's the same, Alpha class, and this is definitive. He doesn't appear on the Omega list in House of X #1. Why? His optic beam has a measurable upper limit. That doesn't make him weak, but the Omega definition requires an immeasurable upper limit. It's also a common mistake to assume Cyclops is beta because of his control issues. His need for the glasses stems from an accident in his childhood, not from the power itself. That's why. Alpha. Wolverine. Wolverine holds a very distinct place among other mutants. He already had these natural claws and could identify scents around him like a wolf, hear sounds from a distance, and with his wild instincts was virtually unbeatable. But when adamantium was added to all these features through experimentation, he reached a whole other level. Adamantium claws can cut through virtually any metal you can think of. Make sure to watch my video where I analyze Wolverine's skeleton in detail. In that video, we talk exclusively about Wolverine's skeleton. I left the link on the right. After everything I've told you, you probably thought he'd be Omega class. Wrong. In the comics, Wolverine is Beta class, and this surprises a lot of people. Why? His healing factor only affects himself, not others. His claws are a structural limitation. They're separate bones and muscles, and he can't close them at will. This isn't a control issue. It's a physical constraint built into the mutation itself. Also, his adamantium skeleton is toxic to him over time. All these factors place him in beta. Don't underestimate beta. This man has stood against nearly everything, but he doesn't have the capacity to change the world. Rogue / Anna Marie. Calling Rogue the most tragic mutant would be accurate. Her story is very interesting because she can't touch anything. She absorbs all the energy or powers of whatever she touches. For instance, in that scene with Wolverine, she managed to survive by borrowing his healing power. But if she had continued touching Wolverine for perhaps a few more seconds, we probably would have lost him. Is this a power or a punishment, do you think? In the comics, Rogue's journey is interesting. Initially, she was classified as Beta because she couldn't control her powers. Then, in the Messiah Complex storyline, she learned to control her powers and was reclassified as Alpha. With the absorption of Ms. Marvel's powers, flight and super strength were added to her repertoire. So Rogue is one of the rare mutants who has moved up a class. In short, we can call her Alpha class. Beast / Henry McCoy. He's the most intelligent mutant in the series. Don't ask, isn't that Professor X? Because it was Beast who invented Professor X's machine. He's also both intellectually and physically very powerful. What class do you think that puts him in? In the comics, Beast is Beta class. Super strength and agility don't carry you to Omega. But Beast's real weapon is his intellect, and that's not a mutant power. He was already a genius scientist. In Astonishing X-Men, his scientific contributions saved X-Men from many major threats. The brain can be stronger than the muscle. Beast proves it. Is Beta class right for him, do you think? Gambit / Remy LeBeau. I said Scott was the most wasted mutant a moment ago, didn't I? I take that back, because Gambit is no less wasted. We only saw such an interesting mutant briefly in the series. There was potential, they just couldn't use him fully. In the comics, his power to accumulate and release kinetic energy is extremely destructive when used correctly, but its upper limit is measurable. The Gambit solo series touched more on this potential, one of the most dangerous men in the field. That's why Gambit is Beta class. Nightcrawler / Kurt Wagner. I personally call him the Jumper because that's exactly what he does. A mutant who can teleport anywhere in an instant. In the comics, his teleportation power is strong, but the range is limited by physical distance. Wall climbing and sticking are extra bonuses. Even so, with tactical intelligence, he can challenge far higher class mutants. That's why Nightcrawler is beta class. If you disagree, use the comments below as a complaint box. I'm curious what you think. Mr. Sinister / Nathaniel Essex. The Fox series never fully showed Mr. Sinister. There was a hint in Dark Phoenix, but that was it. This was a missed opportunity because Sinister is one of the darkest figures in the comics. His mastery over mutant genetics and his ability to biologically reshape his own body make him extremely dangerous. His own mutant power is genetic manipulation. That's not Omega, but his practical threat level is extremely high. Comics class. Alpha. What do you think of our ranking? How would you rank them if it were up to you? Write your own ranking in the comments. Let's debate. See you in the next video.